today we're going to look at some advanced techniques in repotting Neofinetas. Traditionally they're done in like moss. You kind of different specialized pots and moss, you make a little mound, and it's done a few different ways. But I've been doing this for a number of years now, and it kind of all started out when I was overwatering, underwatering thing, and I'd feel the top of the moss and be crisp and crunchy, and didn't know what the inside of that pot was, what the moisture content was. So I started making holes all the way through. And I thought maybe the air circulation would help too, but I could really just kind of feel how wet it was on the inside and judge my watering based on that. So I started making these air cones, and let's just get right into it, I guess. So, what we're going to be using today is a little bit of long strand, a little bit of cocoa fiber, and I just started doing this because of the shortage of sphagnum moss, and honestly, I'm using 50% less moss in the production of these now. It's actually pretty cool. I'm going to use a little bark chip and charcoal that I mix, really fine bark chips. They're probably an eighth of an inch or so, and so we're going to use a little bit of that. And then I've got some fertilizer pellets I put in with this too. This is the fertilizer pellets, Omakasi, I think, and NPK is 462. And then so really I'm going to just start by kind of laying out a few pieces of long strand. Now, I cleaned all my surfaces before. I'm going to recommend that when you start repotting, make sure your table's clean. If you're going to throw plants down on a table that's dirty, why do that? I'm not putting plants down today, but I like to clean anyway. So, a few long strands, lay them down just lengthwise. And I'm looking for about 5 or 6 inches wide on these. I might put one in there crossways, another one in there crossways, and that's probably pretty good. So then I'm going to take a little bit of moss, and this just a little bit. I'm going to, I might just need a little bit more, just a wee bit, but not much, just a pinch. Yeah, that's pretty good. Throw that on there. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this cocoa fiber. It does not take much of this either. That's even more than I need. So a little bit of this, I spread it out a little bit, and I'm just going to lay that over the surface, kind of press it down just a touch. Let that sit there. Now I'm going to put a little bit of my, just a pinch of my pine bark charcoal mix. And then, these fertilizer pellets, and just, you grab one, and I'll get a real crunchy one. I take it and I put it in a bag, and I smash it, or with a pair of pliers. These break up pretty easy, but I do it in the bag so it doesn't get all over, and just break that up a little bit. Not real fine powder, just chunks, coarse chunks. And then I just take a little pinch of that, and we're going to sprinkle that. So that's probably half a teaspoon of the fertilizer pellet, maybe half a teaspoon, maybe half that pellet, or a quarter of that pellet, and maybe half a teaspoon of the pine bark chips. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to take and I'm going to hose it down real quick. That's about good. So what we're doing is we're making compressed cones. We're going to get this wet and compress it, and it's going to dry. Another thing that's good for it, at the bottom of your tub, there's all this, the fine bits. I'm sprinkling just a little bit of the fine bits on top to make use of it as well. I never really utilized that stuff much, so kind of neat how this works. So just kind of give her a little push. Set it in there. I might even give it one more quick squirt. Automatic sprayer. Woo, I love it. No more of this pumping stuff. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Okay, so I didn't mention this before either, but I'm using these dowels. So this is I think 1.25 inches, And I think this is 1-inch diameter dowel, you know, and these are probably 8, 9 inches. Yeah, whatever, 10. So anyway, I'm gonna use the 1-inch today. And then we have I have this webbing. So this is probably 1-inch thick webbing, or 1/2-inch thick webbing, I'm guessing. And I like to make sure it's probably long enough, maybe 8 foot long, each one of these that I have. 6 foot, not quite big enough. So, getting right to it, I'm gonna like lay this down, and then just kind of with the back thumb rolling it over, probably like you would make sushi. And by this, as many of these as I've done, I should probably consider a retirement job in the field of making sushi. And then I'm going to grab that. See, I kind of grab that quick. I don't want, I mean, some of that stuff is falling out. I don't want it to fall out all over the place, but so I kind of like, you know, I'm gripping it, I'm neating it up right now that I've kind of wrapped it up. It falls apart pretty easy, so you got to just kind of watch it. Then, you know, I'm going to take my thumb and grab it, and I'm going to wrap this around, probably onto itself. You can see a little tab, 3 times. And notice 3 times is about the good amount of time for it to grip and hold and not spin and slide. And then by that 4th time, we're starting to get into the moss. I just kind of take all my slack out back there, step on this. I'm going to pull my bucket out underneath here to catch all that water, good water. And then I'm going to squeeze with left hand, roll back, transfer it to the right hand, squeeze again. I'm always squeezing on the hand that's got the moss. Like I said, wants to fall apart until it's wrapped up. So, always kind of squeezing that, rolling it down, and we'll get to the. Yep, and I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on rolling that up. And as I'm rolling, I'm always sometimes loosening this up. You'll find that that pops off sometimes. All the way down, take out the extra. Wrap it again. You know, once you're done, 1 loop, like a 1/2 knot maybe. Throw that in there like that. And then wait and dry this thing for about 16 hours, not more than 24. I have these little racks, like these are my wife's racks for the cookies. But I'll set that on there, and then I'll put a fan on it and kind of get it going overnight. Next day I'll knock them loose. If they dry onto those pieces of wood, they're really hard to get off anymore. And so you've got to get it at the right time. I like to make sure there's some dryness going on in there so they hold their shape better. So we'll revisit that. And with the effects of editing, I'll see you in just a little bit. Hey, look at that. We're back. Just to kind of give you a show, this is what I've done. Made these. I've got the fan on the table. And I'm going to leave that run until tomorrow morning, and then we'll free them up and dry them out some more. So, see you then. Back again. Well, we made our moss cones, and now it's time to unwrap. So basically, this is what we ended up with, and I'm just going to take the wrappings off now. Which way I'm going to go with that? Yeah, went with the wrong one, but so I'm just going to let it unravel. Get that off. Then, you know, what you gotta do is you gotta, at least I do this, is I gotta squeeze it really hard to get this off. So it's still damp. It's not crispy dry at all. And that's how it's gonna come off of this. Otherwise it fuses or it bonds to that wood dowel. Okay, so not on your nice table. A couple taps, knocks it free, and then I can just twist and pull it straight out of there, and then we have our moss cone, or cylinder, however you prefer to say, hollow. And then I'm going to dry this out again, so I won't use this. I will, I'm not going to put it away, because if I put this away and it's still wet and there's no air movement, you know, you might get some little white fuzzies growing on there, mycelia. But I'm going to dry this out completely. So this is going back on that fan on the cookie drying sheet, and probably leave it for a day or a half a day until they get really crispy. And then I just put them in a little tub and store them away for when I need to use them. that will be another episode. So I will post some more videos on how I use these, because I use these in various ways, and they're that's why I do it. They're helpful. So thanks for looking. Hope I kind of shed some light on some of the things I do, and have a good day.